Hello beautiful people. Today we will be cooking a low carb recipe. This recipe is stuffed chicken with riced cauliflower and a side of mushrooms. So we will start by cutting our chicken breast in two. So you'll cut it from the inside so that you can open it up so you have some space to put the stuffing of the chicken. So this is a great low carb option because there's a good amount of fat, some protein, so it's really good to cook. Then we will season it with some chicken stock, some chicken spices that I use, as well as some oil so that the oil brings all the seasoning together. It's really important that when you're mixing, you have a little bit of a wet surface to be able to bring it all together. Now, once we've really mixed that in there, it's all nice and juicy, we will let it sit for a while so that the seasoning can take, because you don't want bland food. And we will heat up our pan to now make our stuffing, which is the spinach. So this is some frozen spinach that I've unfrozen a little bit. I'll put it in the pan that has a little bit of light oil that was warmed up. I will now add some onions for taste, some seasoning. Here I'm using Italian seasoning, which is really delicious. And we will be adding the fats, which will be a tablespoon of cream cheese and a tablespoon of sour cream. I've also added a little bit of garlic in there, which brings all the taste together. So you can now let this heat up together so that it can melt. Oh my gosh, this is so good. You can even have this just alone like this with a side of chicken and won't even need to stuff it. But for the purpose of this video, I will stuff my chicken. I'll stuff them both. One of them I'll keep it in the fridge to have for another time. I'll stuff this, use toothpicks to hold it together because you don't want it to fall apart. We will then move it to the pan that is heating up with some olive oil again, and we will lightly fry it, not for too long, and move it to the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes so that you make sure that the inside of this chicken is cooked. Now moving on to our cauliflower rice. So we will put that in a pan. I put a tablespoon of butter and a little bit of water. That's actually enough to cook this quite good. You don't need to add an extra oil base. I find it's better that way. And for the mushrooms, we just put the pesto that I get at Kirkland, but you can also make your own at home. I just mix that in with a little bit of sprayed oil and water, just a tiny bit of water, just to get it cooked up. And I also added some onions in here just for that extra taste. Our chicken is ready. We took it out the oven. It's cooked from the inside out, which is what you want. You want it a bit browned like this. So you see that it's delicious, and we will plate it. And here is our finished product. This is a low carb meal for dinner or for lunch. Trust me, your taste buds will be jumping.